#1 overall seed. How's that for a target?
That's I mean, we already got the, played the whole year with the big target, but I think this time of year, once that selection show's over, everything is just meaningless now. It's matchups, it's who you're playing, it's win that next game. Everyone's just trying to survive and advance, win in advance in this tournament. So, I just think a lot of extra motivational things, that maybe exist during the regular season go out the window when you get to this time of year, because everyone's given their absolute best to keep their season going.
Yeah, you mentioned last year being frustrated coming off of a semifinal loss, but you guys obviously handled that well and handled it differently than you did the year before. You kind of moved on from it. Now you're riding this wave of almost unprecedented success. How do you kind of compartmentalize what you've done and now what you're about to do?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely feel lighter. I think that the staff and the players do. It's heavy to play at UConn. We don't have the. I'm not even sure if it is a benefit to fly under the radar, because sometimes if you're in a program that flies under the radar, eventually you're going to get to a pressure point in a big game, and the benefit of playing and coaching at UConn is the expectations are so high, so the pressure's always on. So going into NCAA tournament games, I think we wear the pressure well now, and do what we did last year and having the season we've had this year. I think there's a confidence about us. Obviously, we're vulnerable like any other team in the country when we don't play to our identity. But I think we're a more joyful group going into this tournament than we were last year.
Anything jump out at just your side of the bracket? The teams. I mean, I know you don't want to look too down the road too far. But.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I know I saw a couple teams that we were in the Final Four with last year. Stetson's excellent offensive team, excellent three-point shooting team. Blackman, one of the better guards, that we'll have played against, this year. So, it didn't do us, I don't think any favors. Certainly, every game in this tournament now with COVID, extra year, transfer portal, every game in this tournament's tough.
Only 3 bids for the Big East. You spoke on it a little bit last night, but now seeing it actually happen, what does that make you feel?
I think you're probably just a little embarrassed for the league, for such a proud league, and you really, it just becomes one of those things where you'll hear from the selection committee and they'll talk about net, but then other teams in our league had better Ken Palms, but then we looked at neutral. It's the whole thing is just kind of a shell game, and it just really comes down to what the committee, values. To me, I don't understand how a Providence team could beat, Wisconsin in the non-conference. Creighton, Marquette, and have those quality of wins and then not get in. How does Seton Hall do what they did in the second-rated conference in the country, win 13 games and not get in? How is St. John's so far off of the cut line to get in? But I said this a lot too, though. When we do Big East awards and all those different things, the Big East season starts in November. It doesn't start when conference play starts. It's we've got to win big non-conference games, and everyone across the board, the league up and down has got to be strong.
You feel good for a guy like Cam who's played all these years, and I mean he wouldn't even watch.
Arms are tired, everybody.
Right, he didn't even watch the tournament last year because he was so upset not being in it. So you feel good that someone like Cam.
Yeah, I think it's just a great experience for the younger players, and then obviously these are things we talked about with Cam when we recruited him in that short, portal window. Was this we've played to this point exactly what we envisioned if he came here as an addition to what we already knew was in place. So, you want all of your players to feel what it feels like to play at top of college basketball in terms of you know, the environments, the accomplishments, all those things.
Dan, was it right back to work this morning for you and your team, or did you celebrate until the selection show?
Yeah, we bust. We stayed over, and yeah, we elected to stay over, let these guys get some sleep rather than those getting in at 2:30 a.m.'s hurt. But we just broke down some of the mistakes from the last two games. Obviously, the defense and the rebounding, in particular, defense in the St. John's game and the rebounding in both games are incredibly disappointing. So there's a lot there, a lot that's not going to work on Friday in this tournament. We've got to get fully back to our identity. I think, obviously, our offense is excellent. There's a reason why it's the number one offense in the country, but we're vulnerable if our defense and rebounding and our attention to detail isn't where we need it to be, and it wasn't for parts of the last two games.